I had overtime again all this week, so I'm still very tired. Hi, it's Saturday, so it must be another Confessions at Room 3428, and I must be Josh. My camera's doing the skippy thing, and I can't get it to stop, so I apologize, and hopefully it won't be an issue next week. I'm going to jump right into the questions. I had less than I thought I would, but here we go. Scroll up. Lassie Lupin asks, what is your favorite thing to do to make yourself feel better after you've had a bad day? Honestly, I tend to go more towards the I'm going to be as sort of mindless and vegetative as possible. So if I've got an episode of Kathy Griffin that I've recorded that I haven't watched yet, it's that. Pretty much any of my other shows as well, that, you know, my shows that I watch. And a beer, to be honest. Especially since I've cut back on smoking, which used to be my go-to for, like, relaxation. It's, you know, a beer and a TV show. If it's really bad, I'll take a bath and read. WendyBird3 asks, when did you first realize you were bitten by the theater/acting bug? Well, when I was a kid, I always wanted to be a cartoon, like an actual cartoon. I didn't realize that those weren't real. And then it was explained to me that those were just people talking while someone else had drawn the rest of it. So that's when I became aware of it as a viable, like, career. I would say like 7 or 8. But my first play was in elementary school, and I was a narrator for the Brenhamtown Musicians. Loquacious Cook asks, what's the favorite thing about my mom? Her laugh, and her chicken fried steak, and her margaritas, which are really just lime scented tequila. So, mom's cooking dinner and making you drinks, and she's laughing about it. You've got a really good night on your hands. TwinkleToes21 asks, which Harry Potter characters do you see yourself in? The twins. I gotta say the twins. Mostly because I'm really goofy, sort of, I joke a lot, and I think that if these novels weren't intended for a specific audience, and to some degree, they would probably get a little more bawdy. They've made innuendos before. Plus, they're fiercely loyal to their friends and family, and I think I share a lot of those qualities. Lovely Raindrops asks, how did you get into the Harry Potter books, and which is your favorite book? Blair, her sister, her younger sister, AJ, is the same age as me, and she and I, we've always been in school together, and when Goblet of Fire came out, that was the first midnight release that I'd ever heard of for it. I just thought they were crazy, and apparently Barnes & Noble was nuts, and I just thought they were crazy, and she was like, there's a perfectly good reason I'm doing this, and you really should finally read this book. So I was adamant against it, because when I remember first seeing Sorcerer's Stone at a Target, and I was like, oh, that just looks like a kid's fantasy, that's nothing. So I finally got into it, and ended up failing my AP history class because I was reading Goblet of Fire in it. Coincidentally, Goblet of Fire was my favorite book for the longest time. I think it's now Half-Blood Prince. Although I'm still, even a couple years out, I'm still very awash in the Deathly Hallows in these, but probably just because that movie hasn't come out yet. That Jordan Edwards says his question is, what is the title of the song for my opening segment? It's very catchy, but there's not enough of it for Shazam to recognize. Kudos on the iPhone, Mr. Edwards, by the way. That's actually Mika's Grace Kelly from the album Life in Cartoon Motion. I definitely recommend it. Edward got me hooked on it 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's good stuff. Does Mika have a new album out yet? I haven't looked into this. Half-Blood Prince, I agree with Addy. It was amazing, probably my favorite movie to date. The most I will say about it right now is that I really feel like David Yates sort of had a C2J meeting with Mr. Cloves. That's a come to Jesus meeting for any of you who didn't know. That's all I'll say about it. I want to give it another week or two before I give a full-on review. I will probably want to go along for that, so I'll put it on my personal channel. Speaking of going along. Yep, as Addy said, punishments. Bring it. The only thing that I request is that it doesn't cost me any money. I can do it within the time frame of a week. And no, I don't even have to have my clothes on for it, if you want to go that far. So that's it. Love you guys. Miss you guys. Wish you were here. Going to San Antonio to see an old friend today. Then pub quiz and with Megan. And then tomorrow, maybe going to the lake. I don't know. We'll see. Mwah.